Hello
Hello
and
and welcome.
welcome. My name is Amy Kerr. I'm the Vice President of Recruiting here at Worldwide Health Staff Solutions. Today, we are joined by special guest Courtney Donald, who leads our account management team, but is also a Tennessee expert. And we are going to explore all of the great reasons to live in Tennessee. Courtney, thank you so much for being with us today. And thanks to everybody around the world who is watching with us. Please put where you're watching from in the comments. We'd love to know where you're watching from. And also, if you have questions, please drop your questions in the comments and we will answer them as we go along. So Courtney, thanks for letting us pick your brain today and sharing all the things that
Yeah.
you know about Tennessee. Personally, I am a Tennessee fan. If I didn't live in the great state of North Carolina, Tennessee would probably be my choice for a state. But Courtney, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you and your time in Tennessee?
Yeah, happy to, Amy. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of this as the local expert in Tennessee. So happy to join and talk to everyone today. For me, I lived in Tennessee from the time I was 4 years old till I was 27. So the better part of growing up and in the younger part of my adult life. So graduated high school in the Knoxville area, which is in the East Tennessee region of Tennessee. And then moved to East Tennessee State University is where I graduated college, which is in Johnson City, Tennessee. So still in the eastern portion of the state. But after college, I moved to Nashville and began my career as a healthcare recruiter, in fact, recruiting nurses. Specifically to work with pediatric patients. So that was my first opportunity in the career world. Enjoyed living in Nashville and really kind of the early part of my young adult life. Getting to experience kind of living alone, living independently, and getting to see what the Nashville area had to offer. So I'm a lifelong University of Tennessee fan. Typically go to a football game every year or two. Again, always enjoy going back to the state of Tennessee and just getting back to what I consider my roots. So happy to be on today.
Awesome. Well, and I'm just gonna say, like, it's so fun to see where everybody's watching from. I see Ghana, see a Filipino nurse in the UK, Nigeria, Finland is exciting. I'm so excited. And just don't forget, put your questions in the comments, and we're happy to answer them as we go along. And then, to Ruth, we don't right now have a scholarship for non-NCLEX nurses, but we do have lots of really amazing opportunities past the NCLEX. So super, super happy to help once you have taken and passed the NCLEX. And look, hey, from Manila. Okay, so Courtney, why don't you tell us some of your favorite things about Tennessee?
Yeah, I think for Tennessee, it really has a variety to offer for everyone. Whether you really enjoy the mountains and hiking and camping and outdoor activities, there's that to offer in the eastern portion of the state. We have the Great Smoky Mountains. It's nationally known. It's a great place for outdoor activities. But it also offers a variety of really nice lakes. So if you like boating, if you like fishing, canoeing, things like that, there's that to offer really all throughout the state. As you go through the mid portion of the state, there's more hills. It's not as mountainous, but you can still get to those areas. And then as you go to the western portion of the state, it really is more of the plains. So it offers really the variety of all geographies all throughout the state. You can really get, fun fact, you can get end to end from Johnson City to Memphis in about 8 hours. So if you like just day trips and things of that nature, you could certainly get to any portion of the state, no matter where you're living. The other thing I really like about Tennessee is it really does offer all four seasons. You get a taste of really all four seasons. So the winters, although mild, there are opportunities for snow, especially if you live in the eastern portion of the state, the higher elevations. So you do have that. In the summers, not particularly too hot. You do have days that get in the 90s, but mostly it's mild in the 80s. So really offers the great variety for seasons. And then for me, I love music, love entertainment. It has a rich history, really in country music. In Nashville, they have the Country Music Hall of Fame. but even more of a deeper, rich history to the eastern part of Tennessee is bluegrass. And if you're not familiar, I would encourage you to check it out. It's pretty neat. But also, I'm a big sports fan. So in the state of Tennessee, we have the Tennessee Titans representing the NFL. The Memphis Grizzlies are in the NBA. We have the Predators in Nashville. That's the hockey team. And then we just recently, a few years ago, added a Major League Soccer team in Nashville. So we have major sports teams, but also I'm a big college fan. So in Knoxville, University of Tennessee, huge following. Any Saturday, there may be 100,000 people that will attend a Tennessee game. So just great atmosphere if you really like sports.
That's awesome. And just there's some other folks from Ghana. We have Kenya that's joined us. Tina had a Tennessee license. That's fine if it's expired. We can help with that. Nepal, Lacrolle's in Mississippi watching. Nigeria, Jamaica, UAE, Philippines. Super exciting. We do have opportunities for medical laboratory scientists. Today we're talking about NCLEX passing RNs, but we do have opportunities. So we're doing interviews right now for a large company that is doing H-1B visas for the lottery. So it's a great time to apply. So if you haven't applied already, please make sure to do that. Okay, so Courtney just mentioned some really great things about Tennessee. Let's just sort of do a quick overview and then maybe talk about some of the most popular cities to live in. So Courtney mentioned he loves all four seasons. Unless you're in the mountains, it's a place where you don't get a ton of snow, but you can get a little bit of snow so you can see it. That doesn't stop your world. Summers are warm, and then the falls and the spring are really pretty. So great place to have all good mild weather. The biggest cities are probably the most, and the ones that people probably know the most. Nashville is probably it is the biggest city, but also the one that people are probably most familiar with. Memphis, which is also a really big music city, and Knoxville, which is on the eastern part of the state. Where the University of Tennessee is, that Courtney was talking about. It's my favorite city in Tennessee. And it's just a lovely place to live. And then, Courtney mentioned the music. There's lots of entertainment. The Country Music Hall of Fame is there, but also the Grand Ole Opry. There's all kinds of country music. It's, Nashville's really sort of, and Memphis, I think, maybe the home of country music and the home of rock and roll. Lots of really great stuff there. And then the mountains are beautiful. There's lots of really fantastic opportunities for outdoor stuff, as Courtney's mentioned. So maybe let's talk about Nashville. Let's start with Nashville. Courtney, do you have thoughts on great reasons to live in Nashville, things about Nashville that you would want people to know before they move there?
Yeah, I think if an urban atmosphere is really what you enjoy, Nashville is the place for you, because as I referenced earlier, there are a lot of the professional sports teams, which brings a lot of entertainment. You have being that it's the capital, it's the big draw for a lot of tourism in the state, with the Country Music Hall of Fame, and as the Ryman Auditorium is a well-known musical venue. So I think that's the biggest thing to point out about Nashville. It's growing rapidly. I lived in Nashville from 2007 to 2011. At the time, there were around 500,000. So it's grown almost 200,000 in the last 10 years. So which is incredible growth for that area. So and still median cost of living compared to the national average, as we'll point out later on.
Yeah. And fun fact, Camilla is watching from Knoxville today, and it's snowing in Knoxville. It's actually going to snow all the way across the southeast of the United States today. So we are in Charlotte, and we're supposed to get snow today too. Do we have the winter part of the season right now? Yeah, I think one thing to note about Nashville, since it is the biggest city, it does have more traffic. Yep. So it's not like Manila traffic, but it does have more traffic. And I think the cost of living is slightly higher than some of the other cities, I think is important to know. But you do get everything. You have all the sports, all the things. whoever was watching from Finland, there's that big world hockey tournament that's going on right now that Finland's in, and the Predators are a pretty good team. So, super, super fun there. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Memphis. Courtney, what are good things about Memphis, and why would you live there?
Yeah, again, I think the cool thing about Memphis is it's a little bit smaller. So if you like the urban but still have the rural feel, you have that in the Memphis area. You have the professional sports teams that are still there, and a really widely followed University of Memphis football and basketball program. So again, if you like sports, that's there to offer. But also, I think one thing we failed to mention earlier is I think Memphis is well known as the home of Elvis Presley. So you have Graceland not too far away. So really rich history, again, in music and in entertainment in the Memphis area.
Yeah, and I think downtown Memphis, there's all kinds of music and bars and just lots of. It's a musical state, but Memphis is another musical city. Courtney mentioned Graceland. That's like a real destination for people, especially people who are Elvis Presley fans. So it's like, people go, and I've been to Graceland. Have you been to Graceland, Courtney?
I've never been. I've been to Memphis a few times. I've been to a Memphis Grizzlies game in Beale Street, but I haven't been to to Graceland.
Yeah, my mother was a big fan of Elvis, so we did that. But it's really interesting place. But also Memphis is a place that has a lot of suburbs, so you can live in the city or you can live in a surrounding suburb outside of Memphis. And like the school systems in those areas are good. And there's lots of different personalities in the different parts of Memphis. So I think, one thing that I would say to anybody who's moving to Memphis is take some time there to explore the city before you decide where your permanent housing should be. Because there's just a lot of it can feel different. You can drive 10 minutes and it can feel very different in a different part of the city. So that's one thing that I would say. Okay. Next up is Knoxville. Let me take a second just to answer some of these questions real fast, though. Noah's asking about the Trump administration. Noah, there's a really great webinar that I would encourage you to watch that Ron Hoppe, our CEO, did with Ann Rose, the leader of our legal team. You can find it on our YouTube page. It is all about the Trump administration and the, how that may or may not impact the EB3 immigration process and H-1B. I think what we believe is that the processing will continue on the same for the most part, and that there will probably be minimal impact to all work-related visas especially for skilled workers. So I think for now we think there won't be an impact. Also, Catherine asked, can an RN apply from Nigeria? Yes, you can. And we see somebody from Saudi Arabia, which is super fun. Are there available positions for hemodialysis in Tennessee? We are not today advertising dialysis positions in Tennessee. However, we do have new positions that come up all the time. So it'd be really great for you to apply if you haven't already, or let your recruiter know that you're interested in Tennessee. So when the right opportunities come up, we can make sure to let you know, because we have new opportunities that come up all the time. All right. So Courtney, tell us a little bit about Knoxville. Why, besides the University of Tennessee, what are the other great reasons to live there?
Another thing that's really cool about the Knoxville area, I will say, is I've mentioned, the really cool lakes and mountains you can go to. But if you like theme parks and you like going to, I think the Great Smoky Mountains is close by, but in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is about probably 25 to 30 minutes outside of Knoxville, there are several theme parks, water parks, and one well-known is Dollywood. Which is Dolly Parton, if you guys are familiar, is a well-known singer. But that is where Dollywood is. And growing up, that was a great place to go as a kid. And I've even taken my children back to Dollywood. It's just a really cool place to visit. And then just the city of Gatlinburg is really neat because it's right on the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. So just walking around the city and just exploring is really neat.
Yeah, and I think there's like that area has become Gatlinburg has become this like huge vacation spot. People come from like people drive for hours and hours all over the eastern part of North Carolina or of the U.S. to go to those spots. So it's pretty incredible.
In fact,
And
actually, if you like skiing, it is the one place where there is a small little ski mountain in Gatlinburg. So, so if you enjoy skiing, you don't have to go too far, and you can get your taste in that area.
yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's talk about who are we hiring for right now in Tennessee. And we have two acute care hospital clients that we are hiring for. West Tennessee is they're hiring med-surg tele-nurses. Um, and West Tennessee is located, it's most close to Memphis, but a little bit outside of Memphis. And then we're also hiring for Nashville General Hospital, which is an acute care hospital in Nashville. So those are the two opportunities that we are interviewing for right now. If you're interested, please let your recruiter know. And they will be happy to check with you on your qualification if I help you get scheduled for an interview. A couple questions that came in. Are there any positions in Texas? Right this second, we do not have positions opening in Texas, but we do actually. We're doing interviews for Texas in a couple of weeks. So we do have opportunities open in Texas. Some would argue that some people are happier to live in Tennessee, but I would explore all of the different states in the U.S. and find the right one. There might be an opportunity for you in a state that you haven't even thought of. Tennessee might be that state for you. And then are you from Ghana? Can I apply? Yes, you can. You can apply. Oh, and look, somebody's watching from South Africa. That's fun. Somebody else from Nigeria. How exciting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the requirements for licensure in Tennessee. So you do have to have your social security number to apply for your license. And it does require fingerprinting, and you do have to have a CES report. I think maybe most interesting to this group would be that the English tests that are accepted are the TOEFL and the IELTS exam. So, for the visa screen, you can take other exams, but for this state's licensure, you have to have the TOEFL or the IELTS exam. So those are the ones that are accepted. And then, okay, what are the basic requirements you need before you can apply? For these opportunities, you need to have the NCLEX. You also need to have at least 2 years of current experience in the unit that you are applying for. So those are the two requirements. There are opportunities right now, this very second, for histotechnologists. So if you have not applied, please apply. We would love to help you get an interview. We don't have positions in Honolulu, Hawaii right now, but we do have positions in Guam. So if you're interested in being close, we'd be super happy to help. And then hi, Zambia. So glad to see you. And Georgia, we don't currently have any openings in Georgia, but we expect to have some very soon. So if you haven't let your recruiter know that you are interested in Georgia, it's a great time to do that. Oh, and look, there's Elizabeth from Uganda. That's great. Okay, so maybe the most important thing, or maybe one of the most important things when you consider a state to live in is the cost of living. We always talk about thinking about how much things are going to cost. Sometimes you may have friends or colleagues that have an offer for a state, and the hourly rate that they're going to get paid may seem like a lot, but what really matters is have money in your pocket, be able to save, situation, be able to buy a house and cars and take care of your family. All of those things are really more important than the actual dollar amount. And Tennessee is a place where the cost of living is really good. And I think important to note, Tennessee does not have a state income tax. So many states, including North Carolina, do have state income taxes. So Tennessee does not. And so that also helps increase the money in your pocket that you take home. So the hourly wage that you may make is going to be less than you would make if you were in New York City, let's say. But you're going to end up with much more money to take home in your pocket. Here's that you can see, this is the monthly cost for 2 adults and 2 children. This is estimated, just so you know. But we have added the cost for like the Nashville area, the Memphis metro area, and the Knoxville metro area. Courtney, anything you would add here?
I think the one thing I would add is that all of these are still well below the national average, and then the additional point, there's no state income tax, certainly helps. But also in all 3 of these metro areas that are listed, as Amy referenced earlier, there are suburbs and other, somewhat closely related, maybe more rural areas that would still allow you to commute into these cities that may be even a lower cost of living than what you're seeing here on the screen.
Yeah. If you live outside of any of these cities, for sure. I think also just important to know, like almost everywhere in the U.S., it is a best practice to plan to have a car. It is very difficult to get around if you rely on public transportation. There are rideshare services, but those get really expensive. So it is a best practice to plan to buy a car when you get here. Okay, so let's see some questions. Please repeat the requirements again and how to apply. And we'll drop the apply link in the comments for you, so you have that. You can go to our website and apply. We're happy to take your application that way. For these opportunities in Tennessee, they do require that you have taken and passed the NCLEX exam, and that you have at least 2 years of current experience in the unit that you are applying to interview for. And then Elvis, if you're interested in Texas, please make sure you let your recruiter know that is a state that you're interested in. I will just say Texas is a pretty popular state, so there is extreme competition for any of the positions that open up in Texas. And there may be people that have been already waiting on the list to interview for Texas, but absolutely let your recruiter know, and we will be happy to put you on the list. How about New Jersey? Is it a good state to live in, and the cost of living for New Jersey? The cost of living in most parts of New Jersey is pretty expensive, let's say compared to Tennessee. New Jersey is one of the states where I would say that the cost of living is probably, top 10 states in the U.S. In terms of how expensive it is to live there. There are people who really love New Jersey. My favorite part of the United States is in the southeastern part, but there are many people who love living in New Jersey. So I think it's really about finding the right opportunity for you and your family, and being flexible, because sometimes the right and best opportunity for your family might not be in a state that you originally thought. There are 50 very different states all across the U.S., and people raise their families in all of them. Every state is not the same all the way across the state. There are safer cities and more dangerous cities all across the U.S. And I would just say that just look at the opportunity and be open-minded. If there's a state that you didn't know very much about, it might actually be a really great state with a great cost of living. Okay, so a couple of other questions. So what type of visa is offered? These are for EB3 visas. There are some H-1B visa opportunities, but the majority of visas for foreign nurses remain in the EB3 category. The H-1B visas require some extra work and extra qualifications on behalf of the employer. So the easiest visa for an employer is the EB3 visa. So there's many hospitals that choose to go that route. And then I have 2 years of med-surg experience, but currently working in a psych unit with a year of experience. That depends on the specific job. That is a great question to talk with your recruiter about. That's a great question to chat with them. And also, look, Rahila's from Kuwait. Hello, good to see you. And we don't right now have any opportunities for nurse aides. We don't have any of that. We don't have an IELTS score, an IELTS score that's required to apply. So please feel free to apply. Oftentimes the English exam is taken as part of the immigration process. And this is direct hire. We at Worldwide Health Staff, all of our positions are direct hire. So you would work directly for the hospital. Okay, so the last thing that we want to talk about and cover is what job opportunities are available for spouses and dependents. And, Tennessee is a state where there's a lot of healthy economy and a lot of different places. Courtney, what did you find when you lived there? Like, where does your friends and family members work?
Yeah. So a variety, a lot of in healthcare, and then in retail, as well as real estate. My mother was in real estate. So I think that's really strong. Nashville is what some consider the healthcare capital of the United States, with so many opportunities and so much research that goes on in that area. But all three of the areas that we've mentioned offer the manufacturing really more of those opportunities that you might be able to find for spouses and dependents.
Yeah, and even I used to travel there for work, and they were doing so much construction that they had to bring in workers from other places because they just couldn't even keep up because it's just such a vibrant, growing area.
Yeah, a lot of growth, especially
Yeah.
like I mentioned earlier, in the Nashville area, with high demand for construction, for building in those trades.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all the things that we wanted to chat about today. There's a couple other questions that are coming in. So if you have questions, this is a good time to put them in the comments so we can make sure to answer them. Somebody asked about applying as a foreign worker to agricultural positions. We at Worldwide, we support healthcare workers. So we don't have positions specifically for agriculture. So we are sorry, but we can't help you with that part. I have an ongoing EB3 application. Is there a possibility to get H1B while waiting? And does it impact the EB3 application? There are some employers that are offering H1B during the EB3 process. That is really very rare. And it is more likely that another employer wouldn't want to interfere with the process that you have going on. If your current employer decided to offer H1B, there would not be an issue. But I think it's very unlikely. Are there opportunities for pediatric nurses? I believe that Nashville General is hiring in Peds or PICU. Yes. How long is the average wait time from application to departure? Right now, we're seeing that processing times are about 18 to 24 months. So that's 18 to 24 months is the average processing time that we're seeing right now. Can you have part-time insurance? Generally, insurance isn't part-time, though it works in the U.S. You need full-time insurance, and all of these positions are for full-time jobs. So they're all the employers who will sponsor you want you to work full-time. And then, do we offer premium processing right now? For almost everyone, we do not offer premium processing because it is not speeding up the entire process. So it is not, it just isn't, it doesn't making an impact in that 18 to 24 month wait time. If you do have a current priority date, then the employer would absolutely agree to pay for premium processing. PTE, is that accepted in Tennessee? It is not. Tennessee requires the TOEFL or the IELTS. And how to apply as an international nurse. If you go and take a look in the comments, you'll see there's a link to apply, and you can apply, and we are happy to help you. Elvis says he's applied and it's been a week. Elvis, we certainly want to make sure that we are able to help you. Will you please kindly check your spam mailbox, because sometimes we go there. And if you drop your legal name in the comments, I'd be happy to look you up and make sure that we reach out to you. We do not have travel positions. We are direct hire. And so every position that we hire for here at Worldwide is directly for the hospital or hospital system. We do have dialysis positions available. We do have them available. And we don't hire for nurses in Canada. We're only hiring in the US. For carers who joined late, this is going to be posted as soon as we're done. So you'll be able to recording. Cheyenne has a question about the visa screen and NCLEX under the Texas board. You still have the language proficiency test that is required in the state that you get a license in. So if you get a different one and your state is the IELTS or TOEFL, then you would need to take that. So I think some of these questions we have already answered in the beginning of this. And if you have a specific question about your specific qualifications, the best person to ask is either your case manager if you have one, or your recruiter, and they can help you with your specific requirements. We do have MLS, and I think for any of the English exams, you would want to check with the state. The requirements are different state by state. Okay, I think we've answered everything that is not very specific to somebody. As always, remember to like us on Facebook so that you can get all of our webinars and all the invitations for all of the things that we do. We do immigration updates. We do information about different states. So please make sure to like us on Facebook. We also have a Refer a Nurse program. So refer your friends and colleagues and family members. It is great to go on this journey with someone else. It helps you feel encouraged. It helps them feel encouraged. And also you can make money while you do it. And then if you haven't applied, please apply online. We would love to help you and get you connected directly with a recruiter. They are able to help you with all of your very specific questions about your journey. Each journey is a little different. Everybody's experience is a little different, and they're able to help you. Courtney, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks to everybody who joined us here too. We had so many great questions and great participation from all over the world. Thanks for joining us. If you have other questions, reach out to us directly. And we hope you have a great morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are.